meter, right? And sometimes here when the bridge is not balanced, they will ask like a current is flowing from either B to D or D to B. So let us see such a condition here. So let us write this as an X point in this. So as we are writing some points in that, let us write that as an X point to identify the direction of flow of current. So this is some resistors I am taking. This is P, Q, R, S. Now this is our junction here. This is B and this is D, right? So we need to identify that whether current is flowing from B to D or D to B if it is not a balanced Wheatstone bridge. So for that, generally how we will consider this is, if suppose if nothing is there here, we consider that no resistor is connected between that B and D. Then we will identify this potentials of that point B and D. Then by identifying that you can calculate this whether current is flowing from B to D or D to A, you can identify here. So let us see here. Now I am finding the ratio of this I1 and I2, right? Then this is these two are in parallel. Then you can write the inverse ratio of that resistance. Inverse ratio of that resistance is nothing but R plus S, this total combination, R plus S by P plus Q, right? Our aim is, if suppose such unbalanced Wheatstone bridge is given, if it is balanced Wheatstone bridge, we know no current flows from B and D, and we can write that B potential of that B is equal to potential of D. Now what I am saying is, if suppose the given bridge is not a balanced Wheatstone bridge, and simply they will ask the direction of current, whether the current is flowing from B to D or it is flowing from D to B. So for that I am doing the calculation. So suppose that given is not a balanced Wheatstone bridge, and whatever the resistance connected between B and D I am eliminating now. So that we are identifying which is the higher potential there, we are identifying there. So that means now here the ratio of the currents we can write like this. Now from this I am finding this I value, I1 value. So I1 value I can write as, let us divide the total ratio, total current in this ratio here. So I can write this as R plus S by sum of the ratio P plus Q plus R plus S into I, right? Like for example, if it is 2 by 3 for example, we know I1 value we can write it as 2 by 3 into I. That means we need to take this total current like this. The total I1 value we can take this as corresponding to this 2 by sum of ratio into I. You know already, we already solved many problems based on this. So like that I am writing like that one. And so now similarly I2. So I2 corresponding value is this one. So from this 2 by 3 also, just I set an example. So then this is P by Q, P plus Q by P plus Q plus R plus S into I, right? Now let us identify the potential difference between A and B. So then delta VAB, or I can write this VA minus VB. Higher minus lower potential we need to write. This value I can write this as I1 into P, where I1 is given by this. So R plus S into P by P plus Q plus R plus S into I. The I value will be there. Similarly, I am writing like VAD between A and D. So this value will be VA minus VD, right? And so now that VA minus VD means we can again write this as I2 into R, potential difference across this I2 R. And so now this I can substitute this I2 value here again, P plus Q into R by, this is P plus Q plus R plus S into I. So now our aim is we need to find the potential difference between A and B. So potential difference between A and B means we need to subtract these two equations here. So I am subtracting these two equations here. Now delta AB minus delta AD if I write. So which is nothing but I can write this as VA minus VB minus of VA minus VD. And so then this is nothing but we can write this as VD minus VB. So you will get this value here. So I can write this as now VD minus VB is equal to, we are subtracting these two values, right? And so then I value I am taking common, or I by this P plus Q plus, plus R plus S you can take common, and in this the remaining terms you can write this as P into R plus S minus R into P plus Q. Got it? Just we are subtracting these two values there. And let us simplify this. So this is VD minus VB is equal to I into, and if I simplify there, you can write this expression like PS minus PQ you will get. Right? This PO term and minus PO term will be cancelled. So PS and minus PQ you will get, right? So by this P plus Q plus R plus S. Now, and so now let us see here, from this we can conclude this whether the current is flowing from B to D or B to D or D to B, you can conclude here. So I will write the conditions now here. Let us see this. So from this equation, from BD minus VD minus VB equation, you can conclude that. And so now here I am taking the conditions like, for example, if so let us say the first condition, if PS is greater than RQ, or you can also mention this as P by Q is greater than R by S, right? Then from this equation you can conclude that if PS value is greater than RQ, then this value is a positive value. Then you can conclude that VD is greater than VB. So current flows from D to B. If any resistance is connected in such a case, between BD if you are connecting the another resistance, then current flows from B to D. Now the next condition here is, if PS is less than RQ, if this value is less when compared to this, then this total value will be a negative value will get, right? And so then that value we can write this as, you can also express this as P by Q is less than R by S. Then you can conclude that VB value will be greater than this VD. And so current flows from B to D. And the next condition is, for example, if I consider both are equal, if PS is equal to RQ, or which is nothing but P by Q is equal to R by S, then we can write VD is equal to VB. Therefore, no current flows from B to D. So there is no current between B and D here. So those are the conditions. Actually, this is nothing but the proof for this. So we already previously we mentioned that when P by Q is equal to R by S, B and D are at equal potential. Now we can observe this. When P by Q is equal to R by S means when PS is equal to RQ from this equation, then both are at same potential here. That means even though a resistance is connected here, then no current flows through them, right? So those are the ways in case of unbalanced condition. That means if any other resistance is connected here, some resistance is there here. If so, in such a case, if they ask whether the current is flowing from B to D or D to B, then you need to compare these values. Either you can remember this condition, when P by Q is greater than this R by S, then D will be less, D will be having higher potential. When P by Q is less than this R by S, then B will be having this higher potentials there, right? So that means if this ratio is less, then if that ratio is less here, then that side will be having higher potential here. If P by Q ratio is less, then this will be high potential. If R by S is less, then this will be the higher potentials there. If both are equal, then both are at same potential. So like that you can identify this, which is direction of the current flow here. Next, different forms of the Wheatstone bridge over there. Then I will explain in the next class. Thank you. Good morning, students. So in the last class we discussed about the Wheatstone bridge and how to identify the direction of flow of the current and what are the conditions for the balancing Wheatstone bridge. Now let us see the different forms of that Wheatstone bridge. So let us see the different forms of that Wheatstone bridge now, right? And so now here, as I said, that is not only the standard form here, there will be different forms of that Wheatstone bridge will be there. Like suppose I am taking the situation like so we solved, actually I will explain this, we solved already this type of problem here. When you are discussing about series and parallel, if I want to calculate this effective resistance between AB and if the resistors are like this, right? We solved already the problem here. What is the effective resistance there? So R by 3 all over in parallel, right? We discussed already. And so now here if just we need to fold this here, we can remove this conducting wire, this end may be connected here and similarly this end may be connected here. So that you will get those 3 resistors will be in parallel you will get, and by using potential also explained there. And so now here I am connecting 2 more resistance here. So now that means now the resistors are connected like this, right? And so now this is a Wheatstone bridge. How to say it is a Wheatstone bridge? And we need to identify the position of the galvanometer, because when it is a balanced Wheatstone bridge, we need to eliminate this resistance there, right? We need to eliminate that galvanometer there, or the resistance which is connected in the place of this galvanometer. And so now here for this, let us identify here. So I am taking like current is entering at one junction and current is leaving at the other junction there. Like suppose I am assuming that current is connected, potential difference is battery is connected between these 2 junctions. And now I am taking like this, see this one, this is one part and this is another part, right? This I am taking like this. If this resistance is not there, for example, if that resistance is not there, then I am naming these junctions as, or let us take our usual junctions here, like this is A, B, and this is I am taking C, and this point I am taking as D, right? Now potential difference is applied between A and B, A and C, so that we need to find the like effective resistance between A and C we need to find here. So now in that what I am saying is, now if you observe this circuit clearly, it is nothing but our Wheatstone bridge only. How it becomes Wheatstone bridge means, you can observe that this will be the position of our P. This is the resistance, this is the position of our P here. And this is the position of our Q. And this is the position of the R. And this is the position of the S. Observe here carefully. And now this is the position of our galvanometer. So this is the position of the galvanometer. Right? Now if this resistance is not there, then simply observe this. Then current will flow directly here and this will flow directly here. Now between 2 junctions we are connecting battery, and between 2 other junctions we need to connect the galvanometer here. So this is the position of the galvanometer, right? So now it is a balanced Wheatstone bridge. Got it? This is a balanced Weisstrom bridge because P by Q is equal to R by S. This condition is satisfied here. So that means here I can mention that here P by Q is equal to R by S is satisfied. Therefore, it is a balanced Weisstrom bridge. It is a balanced Weisstrom bridge. So if it is balanced Weisstrom bridge, what we can do, just to convert it into our standard form, just you may convert this circuit and you may pull these junctions like this. Just you can convert that into our standard form, or you can verify it easily, right? So it is a balanced Weisstrom bridge. So in case of balanced Weisstrom bridge, now we say this, no current is flowing here. That means here how I write P by Q and R by S means you can observe this, all are identical. So P by Q is equal to 1 you will get, and R by S is also 1 you will get. So that both are equal, I am saying now. And so now here, now if it is balanced Weisstrom bridge, then no current flows through the galvanometer here. That means we can remove this resistance here. So this resistance will become ineffective. Ineffective in the sense whether that resistance is present or whether the resistance is removed, it doesn't affect the current flowing in that circuit, right? And so if that part is removed, I will draw the circuit again by removing that part, right? So by removing that part, and now I am drawing the circuit here. Now we can find the effective resistance easily here. This is the point A and this is the point C, and this is B and D. So between D, I am removing that resistance here, right? Now these two will be in series, 2R you will get, and these two will be in series, you will get 2R. Therefore, I can write this R effective value as R effective value is 2R by 2, so which is R. So it is R effective resistance in that circuit. Got it? Because these two are, that means R plus R 2R and R plus R 2R, both are in parallel. So 2R and 2R are parallel means then R by N we can write. That formula I am writing there so that you will get R effective as R. So it is effective resistance in that circuit. Got it? So it is a one form of this, other form of this Weisstrom bridge here. And next I am taking this another form like so now let us say I am taking the another form here. Now that means suppose this is point A and this is point C, right? So between AC we need to find again effective resistance there, and let us consider that all of them are say all are identical resistors. So identical resistors are connected like that. So then we need to find the effective resistance between AC. So now there also you can identify that easily here. So then it is also a form of Weisstrom bridge, right? So just you need to identify how it becomes a Weisstrom bridge and which is the position of the galvanometer we need to identify here. So that if you identify the position of the galvanometer and if it is a balanced Weisstrom bridge, then you can remove that resistance here which is connected in the position of the galvanometer. Then circuit will become series and parallel combination so that you can solve such a circuits easily, right? And so now here can you say how to identify or how to convert that into a Weisstrom bridge, or what is the position of the galvanometer in that circuit? And so now simply I am saying here you can identify yourself. If this part is folded to outside, that means this part of the circuit is folded to outside, then you will get our standard Weisstrom bridge form here. That means that I am drawing like this. Now this first triangular form is there like this, right? So this triangle is there. Just I am saying this part will be outside. I am drawing here. So this is our point A and this is the point C. I can write like this. So this is our BD, right? So I have now we can understand the position of the resistance easily. Position of the galvanometer easily. So which is the position of the galvanometer there? So then BD. So directly you can identify that this is the position of the galvanometer here. Right? So this is the position of the galvanometer and so you can remove that resistance. So when that resistance is removed, so clearly it is a balanced Wheatstone bridge only because all the resistors I am taking same, so I am not writing again all this data. So directly I am taking it as a balanced Wheatstone bridge and I remove that. And so that effective resistance I can write this as, therefore this R effective is equal to, so then again 2R by 2 you will get, which is equal to R. Got it? Because when you remove this resistance, this will be R and this will be R. These two will be in series, so 2R you will get. And similarly these two will be in series, you will get 2R. And then both the 2R and 2R are in parallel. So you will get R by, that means 2R by 2, which is R you will get. So that is another form of that Wheatstone bridge, right? So like that in the given form, in the given circuit, you need to identify that which is the position of how it becomes a Wheatstone bridge and so that which is the position of this galvanometer there. Next, suppose I am taking the circuit like so another resistance is there here and I am connecting another resistance like this, right? And so now these are our terminals here. This is suppose say A, B, and this is C and D. And so let us take all of them are identical I am taking here. So all of them are R I am taking there. All the resistors, so let us take it as R. And previously I mentioned already, whenever such a symbol is there, that indicates there is no connection between those two wires. That means these two wires are not connected, right? And so now again we need to identify that how it becomes an Wheatstone bridge. That means this is also a form of that Wheatstone bridge. So how it becomes Wheatstone bridge and what is the position of that galvanometer we need to identify here. So can you see the position of the galvanometer in that? It's a very simple circuit only, right? So that means just if we fold this form to this side, that means this part, BCD part, the triangle if you fold to this side, then you will get the standard Wheatstone bridge form. So that means what I am saying there is, so just if this circuit is converted like this, just I am converting the circuit like this here, this part ABD will remain same. So this is our A, B and this is D. This part will remain same. So this part I am converting like this. And so then this circuit, this point you will get like this. So this is our C. So this is R and this is R and this is also R and this is also R, right? Position of the galvanometer. Got it? If that is the position of the galvanometer, we remove that resistance here because here also it is a balanced Wheatstone bridge. So then if it is removed, then we find the effective resistance. That means here you may get a problem, that means you may get a doubt like, all I am taking a balanced Wheatstone bridge, what will happen if it is not a balanced Wheatstone bridge? I will discuss that later, right? If it is not a balanced Wheatstone bridge, how to solve the problem, I will discuss it later. First of all, I am saying that in the given circuit, how to identify the Wheatstone bridge. And if it is a balanced Wheatstone bridge, then there is a use of identifying whether it is a Wheatstone bridge or not. if it is not a balanced Wheatstone bridge, if all the resistors are different so that it is not a balanced Wheatstone bridge. So even though you identify it as a Wheatstone bridge, then there is no use. So then I will explain what will happen if it is not a balanced Wheatstone bridge. So then here if it is a balanced Wheatstone bridge like this, then you can find the effective resistance easily. That means we can remove the resistance connected in the place of the galvanometer. If that resistance is removed, then circuit will convert into the combination of series and parallel resistors, so that you can solve them easily. And now here similarly, if you remove this, then this R and R will become series, and this R and R will become series, so that the effective resistance. That means in all the cases we are finding effective resistance between A and C. That you need to remember here. You may mention that in the beginning itself. Find the effective resistance between A and C in the following circuits. Mention that as a standard problem. We are finding in all the problems, I am finding the effective resistance between A and C. Right? So that is another form of that Wheatstone bridge. And so next I am taking like similar to our previous triangle, I am taking right, and this is another here. Now I am taking this another Wheatstone bridge form as, means here let us take some resistance here. So this is A, B, C, and this is the point D I am taking here. All are identical resistors shown, right? All are identical resistors only. So here also we need to find the effective resistance between A and C. We need to find here, right? And so now can you identify whether that Wheatstone bridge is there or not here? Because generally in our Wheatstone bridge previous problems I am drawing only like 5 resistors there. 4 are sides and 1 that galvanometer resistance we are writing there, right? So then here can you say, but here you can identify that 6 resistors are there here, right? If such a 6 resistors are there, sometimes some of the resistors may be directly in series, so we verify or parallel, so we verify them and we simplify the circuit. Or otherwise you can exclude that additional resistance, and the remaining 5 resistance may form the Wheatstone bridge, and after simplifying that Wheatstone bridge circuit we can add the remaining resistors according to whether it is series or parallel, right? So you need to identify that. Can you identify the Wheatstone bridge in that circuit when you want to find the effective resistance between A and C? Right? Simply you can identify that I am excluding the direct resistance between AC. So the remaining this part. So this part of the circuit if you consider, except this resistance. So except that resistance, that part is a Wheatstone bridge. You can easily say that just if you remove this connection, this resistance let us remove here, and if you pull this circuit here, then you will get our standard Wheatstone bridge form here, right? That means I can draw this circuit as, so this is our standard Wheatstone bridge circuit you will get here. So this is R, and this is R, and this is also R, and this is also R. Now this is point A and this is point C, and so this is B and D, right? Now additionally this resistance is there, that resistance you can connect like this, right? That means this circuit simply you can redraw like this. Just we are removing first this resistance, then just these 2 sides like this, then you will get our standard form of this Wheatstone bridge. And so there simply you can identify the position of this galvanometer here. The position of this galvanometer is nothing but this one. So this is the position of the galvanometer, right? Then these 2 resistors will be in parallel, 2R, and these 2 resistors will be in parallel, these 2 are in series, 2R you will get, and these 2 are in series, 2R you will get. So 2R, R and 2R and this R finally. all those three are in parallel, you will get there, right? So that means then this circuit I can redraw it as, so you can redraw this circuit as this is point A and this is point C. So R and R 2R and this is also 2R, these two resistors and this remaining resistance here. So then the circuit will be like this. And then you can say simply these two are in two parallel, means you can first simplify these two, R you will get, and that R and this R is in parallel you will get. So R by 2 you will get. So I can write this effective resistance as R effective is equal to, directly I am writing, you may do the, if you want you may do the calculation like 1 by R effective is equal to 1 by 2R plus 1 by 2R plus 1 by R. You may simplify that, you will get that, like that. Then simply what I am doing here is, first I am taking only 2R and 2R. If 2R and 2R are in parallel, then R you will get. And that R and this remaining R is in parallel again. So then R by 2 you will get. So like that I am solving that, or you can solve directly by using the formula like this. Right? So this is another form of this Wheatstone bridge. So here in addition to that standard form, the one more resistance is also connected there. And so next here you may consider the another form here. So like so this is point A and this is point C, and this is point B and this is say point D, right? So it is a given circuit, and now let us consider these resistors are like this is 2R, R, and this is 2R, R, and this is R, and let us take this also R. Now here too many resistors are there, not only 5, then more than 5 resistors are there. Now is there any Wheatstone bridge form in that? Can you identify any Wheatstone bridge form in that? So you can identify it easily here. So as I said, when more number of resistors are there, first you may identify that is there any direct series and parallel combinations are there. So if any such a combinations are there, first you may simplify that. Then so that the number of resistors will decrease, then it may become a Wheatstone bridge, right? So then if I simplify this circuit here, then you can observe this, these two resistors will be directly in series, right? So there, for this there is no any too much thinking or too much calculation is not required. So then it is these two are directly in series, so you will get R plus R 2R. Similarly here, these two are in series because same amount of current is flowing through them. And so then this is again R plus R 2R you will get. So that I can simplify the circuit like this. That means this circuit I can redraw it as, so here one resistance and here one resistance is there, and this is a galvanometer position, and the other resistors will be there like this. So this is our point A and this is the point C. So now this is 2R, this is 2R, and this is also 2R, and this is also 2R, and this is R, right? Now the position of this galvanometer is nothing but this one, so you can eliminate that resistor here. So this is the position of the galvanometer here, so that resistance will become ineffective. So when you remove that resistance, then calculation will be easy for us. So you can write this as 2R and 2R. If this resistance is removed, then this 2R and 2R will be in series, and similarly this 2R and 2R will be in series, so that 4R and 4R are in parallel. So I can write this as, therefore this R effective is equal to 4R by 2, which is equal to 2R. That means these two, 4R, these two are in series. 4R you will get, 4R and 4R are in parallel you will get. So that the effective resistance will be 2R. So that is another form of that Wheatstone bridge. And next here, suppose let us take another form here. So in the form of a circle, first I am taking here in circle I am arranging some resistors here. So here I am arranging one resistance. So then here let us take this as one part. So here I am taking another resistance here. And similarly may consider another resistance here. So let us take all of them are same R, and this is R, and this is also R. This is points A and C, right? And so may consider this is point B and this is say point D. So then identify the Wheatstone bridge position, then you can easily say that position of the Wheatstone bridge and simplify that. Find the effective resistance there. I will give the another form here. So now let us say these are the some of the forms of this Wheatstone bridge here. So you can also there may be different other forms may be there while solving the problems you will get automatically. So now let us say this actually when this resistance is not there, BD is not there, you already solved that problem when you are discussing about series and parallel. And so now additionally that circuit is there here. So I will explain this, remaining I think you can solve this easily. So first of all here if you simplify these two, it means here some combinations are there like series and parallel. So as I said, when more number of resistors are there, if some of them are series and parallel directly, so first let us simplify those resistors, right? So then here you can identify that this 2R and this 2R, that means this 2R will be in parallel, right? And so next similarly this R and this R will be in parallel. So I am simplifying that part here. So then if you simplify that part, then here you will get the circuit like this. So this resistance is there here. So then this is R and this is R and this is 2R and this is 2R and this will be R by 2, right? And so next we need to simplify like this is our points A and C. So between A and C we need to find this effective resistance here. Sorry, here also one more resistance is there here. This is also R and this is the point D and this is point B, right? And so now that is a resulting circuit. When you simplify these two resistors and when you simplify these two resistors, then that will be the resulting circuits there. And then now we need to further simplify that. So then still you may not get this value, that means Wheatstone bridge like this. You got the idea how it becomes a Wheatstone bridge? Simply remove that resistance between AC, we may connect it later between AC. So if this resistance is not there, if this part is not there, then you can observe this remaining A, that means this will be, I can consider this as P, Q, R and S. This will be the position of the galvanometer. That means when that resistance is not there, as the circle is completed, I will rub this. So I will draw the resulting circuit of this. That means I am redrawing the circuit like this. A, this is B, and this is C, and this is the point D. And now let us see the values also. Between AB, 2R is there. So that is that value, 2R. And between BC, B to C, R is there here. And between AD, R is there here. And between this C and D, so this R by 2 is there here. And this resistance, AC resistance, I am connecting separately here. Right? Now if you observe this circuit here, it is clearly you can say that this part of the circuit will be a Wheatstone bridge. Right? Now we can further simplify that. Got it? So you can further simplify that, because even though here resistors are appearing different, you can observe that it is a balanced Wheatstone bridge. P by Q is equal to 2 you will get, 2R by R. R by S is equal to R by 2 means again 2 you will get. So it is a balanced Wheatstone bridge. P by Q is equal to R by S. So you can remove this resistance here. So this is the position of this galvanometer. So you can remove that resistance there. And so then by removing that resistance, these two will be in series and these two will be in series. So all three will be this resistance and this 3R and here 3R by 2 all are in parallel. You can further simplify that, right? And the remaining forms, is it clear? So simply when more number of resistors are there, you need to identify just some of the resistors may be in series or parallel combination, just you need to identify them. And so I think this part is also easy. So just here I mentioned like some step here, then no need of taking that, you can directly connect a resistance there. So that it is PQRS you will get, and this is the galvanometer positions there. So you can eliminate this, then 2R and 2R will be in series, then both are in parallel you will get. And this is also same here, right? That means this is our BD position here, and so then you can remove that resistance there, and so that you can find the effective resistance between A and C. This is the position of the galvanometer here, PQRS. Then this is the position of the galvanometer here. Even it may be there in the as a diameter also. Just to confuse that, I am drawing this outside here. And next similarly here, if you are taking this 10th one, then for this 10th one also, suppose here I can say accept this resistance, then remaining this forms a Wheatstone bridge here, right? And so then this is the position of the galvanometer, then you can eliminate that, and then you can find the effective resistance 2R and 2R and this R all are in parallel. You can find the effective resistance there. So that is a way of identifying the effective resistance. So if you remember the standard sum of these forms here, in examinations there may be other forms. Now I am saying not only these forms, these are the forms here. There may be other forms of the Wheatstone bridge also. So out of them, these are the sum of the forms here. So you need to identify that whether we are getting the Wheatstone bridge or not by just by seeing the circuit. If you are getting the Wheatstone bridge, then next you need to identify that whether it is a balanced Wheatstone bridge or not a balanced Wheatstone bridge. So then if it is a balanced Wheatstone bridge, then you can remove the resistance connected in the place of the galvanometer, so that the circuit will convert into series and parallel combination, right? And so now let us write a problem based on this. So write that problem. A uniform wire is made into a square ABCD such that a resistance of each side is 1 meter. 1 ohm. Resistance of each side is 1 ohm. Another 1 ohm resistance is connected between point A and point E, which lies between C and D. Now, if potential difference is applied between, find the ratio CE to DE, find the ratio CE to DE such that when potential difference is applied between A and C, when potential difference is applied between A and C, then the points B and E are at same potential. Then the points B and E are at same potential. So is it clear the given conditions here? We are applying, this is this is a uniform wire. Uniform wire means not only resistance is there here, just I am representing the resistance symbol. So throughout this wire, the total resistance will be 1 ohm. So similarly here from C to D, between C to D, the resistance will be 1 ohm. So we are making some contact at some point E here. So that indicates DE we will have one resistance and CE will have one more resistance there. Suppose if I am taking this as some X here, then this resistance will be 1 minus X ohms will be there. Is it clear? Because we are making the contact here, we are dividing the wire here. So if you are taking as X ohms, then this resistance will be 1 minus X ohms. So we need to find the ratio of X by 1 minus X here. So now the given condition is when potential difference is applied between these 2 points, E and B will be at same potential. So that is the given conditions there. That is nothing but when you are connecting the potential difference across AC, it is becoming a Wheatstone bridge. Wheatstone bridge such that the position of the galvanometer is between the B and E. If you are connecting a galvanometer, then it becomes ineffective. So that is the given condition here. Then we know if it is Wheatstone bridge, then P by Q is equal to R by S must be satisfied here. So you can identify which is P and which is R here. So that means this we can consider it as a P and this is Q. The effective of this you may consider it as a R. That means I will draw the circuit and I will mention this again. So that means this total effective we need to represent here. So then this is P, Q and this will be R and this is S. Now R is effective resistance between this A and E, between these 2 points. So effective resistance between A and E, let us calculate first here. Is it clear what we are going to calculate? The effective resistance between A and E. Effective resistance between A and E means this 1 minus X ohms is in series with 1 ohm. That is in parallel with this 1 ohm here. So that gives our effective resistance, which is nothing but this R. Now these are PQ and RS. So then if P by Q is equal to R by S, then potential difference between these 2 points will be same here. So this is the position of this galvanometer which we need to assume here. So which we need to assume is galvanometer is connected between those 2 points. So first let us calculate the resistance between A and E. So equivalent resistance between A and E. So that I am taking as R, right? So this I am taking as R. So that we can write this as 1 plus 1 minus X. These 2 are in series, that will be in parallel with this 1 ohm into 1 by 1 plus 1 minus X plus 1. R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. So this is nothing but 2 minus X by 3 minus X you will get. So that is our R value, right? And so then here when B and E shall then we can write this value as P by Q is equal to R by S. So here this S is nothing but X ohms here. This we are assuming it as X ohms. Right. This is nothing but that R value there. So then let us substitute these values here. So 1 by 1, P is 1 and RQ is also 1. This is P and this is 1. RQ, so which is 1 ohm and this is also 1 ohm here. So then R value, R is nothing but 2 minus X by 3 minus X by this S value is X. Right. So then let us simplify this equation. So I can write this as then you can simplify this as 2 minus X by X into 3 minus X is equal to 1. You can simplify, you will get a quadratic equation and you can find the factors for that. So then 2 minus X is equal to 3X minus X square we can write. So therefore this equation we can write it as X square. Let us write this term this side, minus 4X plus 2 is equal to 0. Right. So then that is our X value, that means equation. Then we need to find this factors for that. So X is equal to then plus or minus, minus B plus or minus under root of B square 16 minus 4AC, so that is 8 by 2A. Therefore this X is 4 plus or minus root 8 by 2. Therefore this X value will be 2 plus or minus root 2 you will get. And so then this value we can consider this as now here we need to consider whether this X value is 2 plus root 2 or 2 minus root 2. If you are taking it as 2 plus root 2, then clearly you can observe that you will get that X value as greater than 2, which is not possible because our total resistance between C and D is 1 ohm only, and so that it should be the X value is a part of that, and so X value must be less than 1, and so for that reason we should consider this X value as 2 minus root 2 only. So that is our X value. And now we need to find this ratio here. That ratio is like CE by DE value we need to find. That is our required ratio. And so now it can be written as so CE by DE is equal to root 2 minus root 2 divided by 1 minus of that means 1 minus X value we need to write. So 1 minus of root 2 minus 1 minus of 2 minus root 2. So then on simplifying 2 minus root 2 by root 2 minus 1, and now we can rationalize this. So if you are rationalizing this, CE by DE is equal to 2 minus root 2 by root 2 minus 1 into root 2 plus 1 by root 2 plus 1. So on simplifying this numerator, you will get like 2 root 2 plus 2 minus root 2 by 2 minus 1. And so on simplifying this, CE by DE ratio is equal to, we can write this as root 2. And so that plus 2 and minus 2 will be cancelled. We will get root 2 minus 2 root 2 minus root 2. So we will get this CE by DE ratio as root 2. Right? So that is a ratio of our required ratio here, CE by DE ratio. So that is a problem, one of the problem based on this Wheatstone bridge, and this is also based on the balanced Wheatstone bridge. So in today's class we are discussing the different forms of the Wheatstone bridge, and we solved some problems based on the Wheatstone bridge, and all those are balanced Wheatstone bridge. So if the bridge is not balanced, then such a problems we will discuss in our next class. Thank you.